Let's move on to the top of the bill. John Fetterman versus Mehmet Oz, Dr. Oz. Most recent polling has Fetterman with a comfortable, though not hugely significant lead. I'm seeing up 4, up 5, up 2, depending on the polls. More recently in this race, Oz has been getting. They've been fighting a war of memes basically throughout this, and they're both equally dog shit.
It was a meme war that Fetterman was winning because he was hitting normies right in their guts.
Yes.
He was doing the thing that no Democrat had been able to do, because you either had the too cool for the normie left online going beyond their conception level, or just even too stagnant, too earlier generation. You couldn't hit him in the middle. This was a meme thing right into people's thorax. They loved it. Now, Dr. Oz, this TV oaf, very funny guy. You can make fun of. Fetterman, big dude, looks good. But then he had a freaking stroke, folks.
That's what I would call a classic bungle, a gaffe, if you will. Having a stroke basically the day you win the primary.
Yeah. It's like now
you don't want to
all
do
bets
that.
are off. I mean, like, the structure of this race showed a comfortable Fetterman win. He is the guy who actually does threaten to break through from the cultural polarization around the Democratic Party, which is the only way that the Democrats can win, is if they can break out of that ghetto. And Fetterman is a guy who could embody that direction. But here he goes. His giant head is now weak, and now I don't know. He's having trouble. He's struggling to speak at rallies.
Yes,
it's definitely now it's a toss-up.
It took them forever, the Oz team, forever to just do what Republicans do with Biden all the time, which is Biden will give like a 20-minute speech, and then in the middle he'll say, "And folks, I wear a dress," or whatever he says. And then they'll clip that, and the RNC will have a video that both like the kind of horseshoe left and the right are all retweeting, like, he's got to go. This is I can't believe this is real. He's lost it. And it took them forever to do that with Fetterman, because Fetterman has given a couple speeches where he'll like eat words in the middle of it, and they'll say, "This is it. Can you want this brain representing you?" They finally got mean, but also that stuff is for it's hurt him less with like they went in the media, because the media, when you have a candidate who's not accessible and they're not answering all the health questions, that's when everybody perks up. This is not, the JFK hiding his medical records. We need those records. So you've got like editorial boards around the country where John Fetterman must debate.
A bunch of nerds demanding tomorrow's homework today.
But what the Republican, when they're spending money on, is actually Fetterman. If you're a lieutenant governor of Pennsylvania, you're on the parole board.
Right, he let out the murderer,
and which was like the hot thing to do even for Republicans until 2020 was, include Donald Trump, was I will listen to their case, and no one else will listen to this person. But there's somebody who is, he made a mistake 40 years ago, let him out of prison. He was doing that. So all their paid advertising is basically just like hitting the Willie Horton button.
Yes.
Again, like, here's a guy. Look what he did. Crimes. And then like
crimes.
And John Fetterman, who blends in pretty good in an ad about scary people, not in a negative way. Fetterman, the first person to admit this. The fact that he looks like
tough,
he could kill you
is part of his appeal.
That's why he doesn't scan as a phony Democrat to people. But they're able to hear him say a thing like, "Let's legalize marijuana," and be like, "Oh, we might legalize marijuana," not like
in a tough way.
Want, which is all you hear when some fucking Connor Lamb ass stuffed shirt shows up to shovel some more horse shit in your face.
Yeah, and that's been their thing, is like, this guy is going to let all the crooks out and they'll all kill you, which is kind of a more usable, and you can use that anywhere. It's what they're doing in Wisconsin, they're doing it in Florida, doing it everywhere. If crime happened because a Democrat did it.
Yes.
Gotta say, the most grotesque part of that campaign for me from Oz has been that he's condemned the campaign for hiring these two guys who spent I think 20 years in jail.
Yeah.
And for a murder that they did not commit. Like they
provenly did not.
Like
yes.
they were before they didn't do it. I mean, it was never even alleged that they did it. They literally like drove a car for a guy who was later convicted of a murder. And they spent 20 fucking years in prison, and they get out and they get hired by Fetterman, and fucking Oz is like, a demand to fire these criminals. Like, God damn, that's like.
Can I do one more?
These people really are scumbags. I mean, you forget about it. They're clowns, but they're also just real pieces of shit.
Can I give one real quick negative Oz piece that I found that was pretty stomach churning to me? Do you know about the dogs, the puppies, Dave?
Oh, no, well,
God,
with a lead like that, please tell me, but I don't know about
that.
That
was a good one for him.
Apparently,
when say Fetterman is that Oz is just a weirdo.
Apparently when Oz was cutting his teeth in the Columbia University Health Research Department, he trigger warning animal violence, not personally, but led and conducted a study that involved, according to one complainant, a litter full of conscious puppies being placed in a plastic bag and killed with an intercardiac. According to the complaint, the puppies cried out as they received the IC injection because it is, of course, very painful and should not be done without first anesthetizing the animals. I should put here clean. Trigger warning. Animal
too
violence.
late. It's too late.
I
I'll
thought
cut that
Democrats respected science.
Yes,
and
well,
yet here
Maybe
they are.
bleep it or something.
Yes, but apparently Oz was in charge of that study. Real creep. This Oz guy.
That's the thing, is that like Trump, he won because Trump endorsed him, which was not what the mainstream of the Republican Party in Pennsylvania wanted. They wanted McClintock, whatever the fuck his name was.
McCormick.
And
Close. Who
then
cares?
like the base wanted that crazy lady, whatever her name is.
Kathy Barnett.
Yeah, and like he came in and like took the one segment of people who just like Trump because he's Trump and had no real deeper commitment to that, and said I like this guy, and that was enough to split the race and win that thing. But like, he did that because he recognized in Oz him in that like, oh, this is a celebrity trying to run for office, and then he just thought like, well, I'm a celebrity running for office. And I did well, so therefore it works.
They are the most
the thing is that
demographically similar people
it's true,
on the ticket in a while.
But Trump is this like guy who is singularly charismatic in a specific way, whereas Oz is kind of a weirdo. He's kind of a creepy guy. The fact that he was like ever a TV guy kind of blows my mind. It's like he has this unctuous quality that I think is like reassuring on like medical questions, but that reads as like kind of creepy and insincere, as opposed to Trump, who is like just this. So fake he has to be real.
Yes.
Whereas like Oz is hiding something.
And just not being from Pennsylvania. Sometimes people don't
that
care
doesn't
that much.
help.
Yeah.
But not being from there, well, having spent like crucial years there, where if it's one of those answers, like sometimes he'll give like enough time for a 2-minute explanation of why he came back to the state. But everybody knows like he came back as a Senate seat. Like there's lots of places he came back for that, and he's not like Robert Kennedy. People are not like giving him a pass on it. So that's been so much of the campaign, and they're trying to turn it back to like, well, I might not be from here, but I wouldn't let a innocent person out of jail.
Also, I can say the alphabet. I don't slur when I speak.
That's right. I can draw a clock.
I don't smell toast all the time.
Yeah, doctor.
Real quick before we get to the end, just thinking about the celeb thing. You know who the Dems should recruit for a major position? Jeff Probst.
The Survivor host?
Yes, I feel like he would give this reassuring calm of a guy who's been on TV for 20 years but could actually deliver
He
lines.
has been in people's living rooms every day.
Yeah, so
telling them about who's been kicked off the island.
Hire me as a consultant for that. All right, does Fetterman win, gentlemen?
Yeah, I think it's going to be closer than it should be because of the stroke. But Oz has a big deep hole, and I just want to say this: could you imagine going back in time and telling yourself or anybody else around you? Say to go back to 2003, 2004. Sorry, in 2022, there's going to be a fucking Sunni Muslim running for Senate in Pennsylvania, and it is not going to be an issue for either side. No one is going to bring it up really at all. It's kind of astounding. Mm-hmm. It's like, think of just, I mean, if you're old like me, you remember how much the war on terror, psychopolitics dominated everything.
Why won't Dr. Oz say radical Islamic terrorism?
And like,
oh God, wow,
I remember that. Oh God, give me a flat fact. Fuck,
radical
falling
Islamic
down Jacob's
terrorism.
ladder right now.
That phrase, real
radical
high
Islamic
key fell
terror.
off.
Oh God, yeah, like
I mean,
that
for
was
the best, but
that was the top note on like the xylophone of the human like nervous system that they were playing.
Yeah.
During the PSYOP game of like,
I feel like
literally a fucking a color coded warning system to just like play it like a harp.
God, I
that
remember
was
in, like,
there's only two
2015
genders of like the Linkin Park era.
Yeah.
I feel like in 2015 I had to do a supercut at Slate where I just like cut Ted Cruz saying the words radical Islamic terrorism 400 times to prove some kind of.
Because Obama wouldn't say it. Why wouldn't he say it?
We lost the war.
Yeah.
We lost that war, and so we had to pretend it never happened
that one
and
away.
find a new enemy at home. And so none of that matters anymore.
Not that never happened, but it was Hillary did it.
Right.
And
Well,
no Republican had any
it's like
role
it's no
whatsoever.
longer a obtaining like psychic structure. Like those aren't the enemies anymore.
Yeah.
Because we lost them.
I also think Fetterman will win, but it's going to be a nail biter.
That is the one where I feel because there will be a debate October 25th.
Ooh.
And that's the one
Set
where
your cringe-o-meter for that one.
He's never been that good. I mean, I've covered him for years. He's never been like a great orator. It's just that why is this normal guy doing this?
Exactly.
It's been
He
the
seems
thing.
normal, so he doesn't have the bullshit. You don't think he's lying. You don't assume he's lying.
I think even if he is fairly impaired during that, I feel like if that is his appeal, that will cut through compared to the Oz, who is just bullshit.
Well, that's the thing,
Pure
is that-
bullshit.
And
Which one of those is gonna hit your limbic system? Like, what's gonna twinge you off? Is like this big hunk of man, maybe struggling with words, heroically struggling, you might say.
Yes.
Yeah.
Versus this Hollywood phony, like with the spindly little fingers over in the other corner, embodying that simpering daytime television kayfabe.
Mm-hmm.
That guys like Trump, by the way, exist by demolishing.
Yes.
I think he still pulls it out.
Yeah, I think and they've lowered the standard so much. It's just like the first Trump-Biden debate where they're like, we're not even sure if his brain can be like put back together for 90 minutes for him to do it. Like, will he show up? Will he come up with a reason not to come? Will he hide in the basement? Like, they just kept owning him, and they showed up and he's like, he yelled a couple times.
Yeah.
People were like, well, I guess he's ready to be president. So that could happen too.
So we say lean
Leans Fetterman.
Fetterman.
Yeah.